Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Gretchen Carey, filling in for Phil Gallagher, and I am joined today by BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, reporters Ted Stefanek, Robert Paris, and Barris Connolly, Peter Brown with the weather, and myself on the community calendar. Online controversy surrounding administrators in the Burlington Public Schools District was briefly discussed at Tuesday night's school committee meeting and addressed in a letter to parents from Superintendent Eric Conti. The issue involves responses to a letter sent to parents by interim Memorial School Principal Tara Harris that addressed her time in the district as a leader of color. Responses to Harris were reportedly shared by the principal with the entire school's mailing list rather than directly with those who emailed her, letting everyone on the list see what would have been typically a one-on-one correspondence. The response also reportedly led to an exchange between Harris and Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin that was shared via screenshot on social media that purportedly had the pair discussing racism in the community. This led to more discussion online, including a petition calling for Larkin's resignation. During the school committee meeting, Chair Catherine Bond said an open session was not the place to discuss the employment status of a district employee. Here she is.
This is a very complex situation. Legally, open session is not the appropriate place for personal attacks of school employees or discussing in the first instance complaints against personnel or related personnel issues. In fact, the open meeting law in exemption specifically provides school committees the ability to go into executive session to discuss the discipline or dismissal of or complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. And further, that the individual employee is required to be provided 48 hours written notice to such executive session will be taking place, and the employee has a right to be present for such discussion. As such, I will gavel any, not allow such discussion to take place tonight. I encourage everyone who has any complaints against the school officials or employees to forward them in writing to the superintendent or myself so they can be reviewed and handed in an appropriate manner. The school committee takes this situation seriously. What occurred will be handled in the best possible way for everybody.
In a June 24th letter to Memorial School parents, Superintendent Conti said that he did not have an issue with Harris's email and suggested that social media is not the place to hold conversations on sensitive issues. "I am not an expert in these conversations about race, and I have much to learn," he wrote. "I do know that change happens through optimism and listening. Social media is not an appropriate or effective vehicle to grow understanding." Finally, as reported by BNews, the district is set to welcome new Memorial Elementary School Principal Patricia English Sand. Superintendent Conti said in his letter that he hopes the community can focus on the future for the benefit of the school and of the students. The Burlington School Committee was given a comprehensive look into the risky behavior students in the district have been engaged with during the latest meeting earlier this month. BPS Director of Physical Education and Health, Matthew Jackling, presented the committee with the latest Youth Risk Behavior Survey that was given to all middle and high school students in the district in April of 2021. In Burlington, 646 middle school students and 695 high school students participate, meaning that each percentage point reported in the data represents approximately 7 students. Jackling said that the data is used to compare trends in student behavior over time to allow the district to assess the risks posed to student health and adjust programming and education appropriately. It is also a way for educators to better understand some of the stresses facing students to help with counseling. The survey looked at 7 areas of risk-related behavior and indications of mental health, including those that contribute to unintentional injuries and violence, behaviors related to mental health, tobacco, alcohol, and other drug use, sexual behaviors, and more. Jackling first reported on the general mental health of the students in the survey. He said 33% of high school and 26% of middle school students reported that their mental health was quote-unquote not good most of the time, or always with female students twice as likely to report depression. Jackling broke down the reported use of different substances in the 30 days before taking of the survey. He said 17% of high school and 2% of middle school students reported consuming alcohol. 7% of high school students and no middle school students reported using marijuana. Electronic vaping products came in at 9% for high school and 1% of middle school students. Cigarette use was even lower, with 2% of high schools and 0% middle school students saying that they smoked. Prescription drug use was at 1% for both schools, and inhalants came in at 1% of high school and 3% of middle school students. You can read the results from other categories and suggestions for the school committee at our website at bcattv.org/bnews. The Burlington School Department will likely not be distributing COVID-19 tests to students' families in the fall after a decision not to support the program came down from the state. Superintendent Eric Conti told the school committee on Tuesday that the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education will no longer be providing communities with tests during the 2022/23 school year. Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin said school leaders will discuss over the summer to what extent, if any, this district will supply tests to families and will reevaluate if the situation with case numbers change. The second Burlington Pride celebration was held on the town common this past Sunday. BNews reporter Varys Connolly was there and has this report.
No one celebrates togetherness quite like the Burlington community. On June 26th, the residents of Burlington put on a Pride event to promote inclusivity and extend a friendly hand to those in the LGBTQIA+ community and remind them that they have a safe place here.
The best part of running the Pride event is seeing people step up, the community step up to volunteer and support and really be excited about it. We weren't sure what to expect. Last year was the first year. We really had no idea, and we were overwhelmed with the amount of support and people saying, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Everyone is welcome here in Burlington, because when we first saw that first Pride flag on someone's house, it was the first time we felt like, maybe we do fit in here.
Everyone is welcome here in Burlington. That's our message. That's our big message. We're all welcome. Everyone here is loved, and if you don't feel that way, then we're not doing something right, and we need to step it up as a town.
As fellow community members gathered on the common, the voices of LGBT members and allies rang out to deliver their message of love and support to let everyone know that they are not alone.
I hope that what people take away from the event is the call to action and the mobility, and hopefully that what they see here is, a group of people just spreading love and spreading hope and accepting each other.
It's really about people, neighbors, residents, friends, families. Just everyone in Burlington should be able to just be who they are, be part of the town, and we want people to know, and I think this event helps people just feel seen and that, welcome.
I think, kind of to Nancy's point, right? We have a bunch of great people here, and we want everyone to feel welcome and included and come to these events and share in the joy and the celebrations with Burlington.
Here's to another year of loving who we are. This is Varys Connolly for BNEWS Weekly.
For the first time in the town's history, June has been officially recognized as Pride Month in Burlington. The Select Board issued a proclamation declaring the recognition during Monday night's meeting, which was read by Chair Nick Priest. And here he is.
Whereas the town of Burlington supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and beliefs, a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community. And whereas all people, regardless of age, color, disability, gender identity, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background, have the right to be treated on the basis of their intrinsic value as human beings. And whereas the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual communities offer many valuable contributions to the cultural, academic, civic, artistic, social, and economic successes of the town of Burlington. And whereas in support of Burlington's LGBTQIA+ members, groups, and leadership in the promoting diversity and inclusivity, the Burlington Public School District's commitment to equity, and our own commitment to eradicate prejudice and discrimination everywhere. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Burlington, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2022 Pride Month in the Town of Burlington and encourage all residents to reflect on the difficult work for equality that LGBTQIA+ members face and to celebrate their valuable contributions to our community.
The proclamation was accepted by a town meeting member, former town moderator, and town members of the LGBTQIA+ community, Sally Willard, who said that while it was a little overdue, she appreciated the recognition of Pride Month. Burlington's Economic Development Team recently took a tour of the Operations Control Center for the Chandra X-ray Observatory, a large Earth-orbiting telescope that can see X-rays from deep in space and is controlled from here in Burlington. BNEWS director Rich Hosford joined the tour and has this look.
It may look like something from a Hollywood movie set, but it's actually more interesting than that and is located right here in Burlington. In an unassuming building on Wayside Road, there is housed the Operations Control Center for the Chandra X-ray Observatory, a telescope orbiting the Earth that has been collecting unique images from the deepest parts of space for over 2 decades that is part of a joint venture between NASA, the Smithsonian, Harvard, and private businesses. During a recent tour that was part of a fact-finding mission by the town's economic development team, we had a chance to check it out and learn more about its history and mission.
Our organization, the Center for Astrophysics, is an astronomy organization and proposed the Chandra mission back in the 70s, which was approved by NASA, built in the 80s and the 90s, and then launched in July of 1999. We're an Earth-orbiting spacecraft that looks at events that create X-rays, so we collect X-rays for images for the science community.
There are a number of things that make the Chandra Observatory particularly useful for scientists. Most especially are the mirrors that can detect light at the X-ray portion of the spectrum.
Light comes in a number of wavelengths across the spectrum, from radio up into gamma rays. And so the Chandra X-ray Observatory has the ability to focus and image those X-rays that come from high-energy events in the universe, things like black holes, exploding stars, colliding galaxies. So Chandra gives us a unique ability to look into those events that are not available to, say, other spacecraft.
And all of that is controlled from here in Burlington.
This is the facility from which we operate the spacecraft, and what that means is that we plan its activities. We create the commanding that goes up to the spacecraft so the spacecraft knows what to do, what to look at, and we receive the image data back from the spacecraft through the NASA Deep Space Network on its way to Burlington, Mass., where we receive that data and then we turn it into the science products that the observer had requested in the first place.
So what made them decide to relocate the command center to here in town?
We're very fortunate to be a long-running mission. So when we launched in 1999, we were in a facility down in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And then in 2017, we came across the need to relocate to somewhere. And we did a search of available properties and decided that Burlington, Mass., here at this facility at 15 Wayside, was the perfect fit for us in so very many ways. So we moved up here over the course of 2 years and started operating here in 2019.
Finally, Burlington Economic Development Director Melissa Tentokoulis said she was surprised to find this high-tech space center endeavor here under our noses.
Well, it's just amazing, Rich. I mean, in terms of what we're seeing here is just the technology, but the blend of all the partnership really with, Harvard, the Smithsonian, Northrop, taking images from 13 billion light years away. It's just amazing. And to kind of find that it's just home here in Burlington is kind of another just gem that kind of is sitting here, but we haven't noticed before.
From the Operations Control Center for the Chandra X-ray Observatory, I'm BNews Director Rich Hosford.
Burlington is poised to have a new town accountant once a contract is finalized with a candidate chosen by the Select Board last night. The board voted 5-0 to approve Juling de los Reyes to the position after interviewing her and fellow finalist Richard Howarth Jr. in a special meeting on Monday evening. The position of town accountant is currently held by John Denizio, who is also the town's assistant town administrator and finance director. Town Administrator Paul Sagarino explained to BNews that it was decided to go back to having the positions be held by separate people due to a recommendation by the Massachusetts Department of Revenue, which did a report on the structure of the town's financial department. He added most communities have 3 separate jobs for these positions, so they felt it was time to address that. De La Reyes is currently the Assistant Finance Director for the town of Natick, a position she has held since 2020. Prior to that, she was an accounting specialist in Newton from 2017 to 2020. She has an MS in Administration from Boston College, an MA in Applied Linguistics from UMass Boston, and a BA in French and Finance from a National Central University in Taiwan. She is also certified by the Massachusetts Municipal Auditors and Accountants Association as a certified general accountant. In the latest local economic development segment, we return to the town of Burlington's Pocket Park in the town center, a small venue created for events, relaxing, meeting friends, and patronizing local businesses. Let's check it out.
A public-private partnership has bestowed Burlington with a safe and inviting pocket park that can also spark local business.
Well, the Economic Development Office focuses on small business, the town center, as well as large-scale commercial big projects and business attraction. On the small-scale side, our focus has been on the town center. So you might recall we worked on the town center park, which is a collaboration with the town and a property owner in town. So that currently still exists. We've been working with our department, so I'm excited that the rec department and town clerk have put forward proposals to use this space to activate it and draw in more foot traffic. And so that foot traffic then supports the businesses. It adds more business activity to our town center. And that's really special because that's really where that kind of entrepreneurial spirit exists. The town center park is just kind of a public space project to bring fresh interest. But the activation really has to come from the businesses themselves. So if you're a business out there, we invite you to come on down and create any kind of event you want down there. Please talk to us. But also, from the town's perspective, we can play a role. And so the rec department's proposing a cornhole tournament down there. Town clerk will be looking at doing a shredding event down there. And all these efforts just bring people down to where our small businesses are. Our goal is that it generates more business activity for them because, we have our corporate areas or large-scale commercial areas, but down in the town center is really a hub for entrepreneurs and people who are really trying to get a footing in the business world.
From the Burlington Town Center Pocket Park, this is BNews.
Herb Chambers Porsche of Burlington celebrated its unique dealership experience with a first-class grand opening event. BNews reporter Ted Stefanek was there and has this report.
Porsche Burlington recently held a grand opening red carpet event, complete with Herb Chambers himself in attendance.
We recently opened this brand new facility, 52,000 square feet, with the Terran Car showroom. And we do an event with a collaboration of a Macan lunch event as well. And just kind of want to showcase the community and everybody locally, a new building, and kind of show what we do. A service department, a parts department, and kind of mingle with everybody and show community that we're here. Well, Burlington is just a great community, just such a center hub of everything. And, it's really good, affluent community around, and I think it really fits our brand. Stop by and check it out.
From Porsche Burlington, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanek.
Burlington resident Tyler Demore has been hitting the slopes as a member of the Freestyle Mogul ski team out of Killington, Vermont, and has been invited to work with the U.S. ski team Project Gold Development Program. BNews sports reporter Robert Parrish met up with him and has this report.
Burlington High School student Tyler Demore has been hitting the slopes for quite some time now. It all started when he was introduced to skiing by his parents. In middle school, he took things to the next level at the Killington Mountain School in Vermont, where he chose to be a part of the Freestyle Mogul ski team.
About 2, my parents put me on skis, and I just started skiing on the Bunny Hill. And then just ever since then, I've been skiing my whole life. I started going to the Killington Mountain School right around middle school, 6th grade-ish, and that's, I think, where I'd say the start of my competitive mogul started. So 6th grade. Well, I started skiing at Killington, and that's where I still ski now. And I started in the ski club program, and it was just like you do everything, and then once you get to a certain point, you kind of choose between like moguls, alpine, and then freestyle. And I went with the moguls path because that's what I liked the most.
Fall, winter, spring, and even summer, Damore practices with his team year-round.
So in the off season, it's just we do like working out, and we try to get training in like on the airbag and at water ramps. And we usually have one trip out west to just ski on snow for a little bit. And usually just in the summer, just working on jumps, learning new tricks, and staying sharp, ready for the season. So the airbag is just like a big ramp, and you ski down and hit a jump, and you just land on a nice airbag, so you can't really get hurt. And you just practice jumps and learning new tricks, and then you bring it right to the snow in the beginning of the season. I think it's fun just doing the jump. You can go pretty big, and it's fun just being there with the rest of the team too.
The young athlete has already achieved a number of accomplishments. Out of all of them, Tyler's favorite is his 3rd place finish at the U.S. National Championship Moguls.
I'd say the last race I did was U.S. Nationals, where I got 3rd. That's just my best result I've ever had, and it was just really exciting to be there and be competing against these other top athletes from the U.S. and doing so well. I think it's like really cool. I never thought I'd make it this far, and I'm really happy and proud of myself for making it as far as I have. And I'm excited to keep going.
During the pandemic, Tyler and the team traveled to Finland to continue their skills, as many places around the globe were shut down.
It was just a trip we went on as a team to get more like events going, especially for these younger kids who like missed out. So we all went out there as a team, and it was because we were supposed to go to Canada actually, but we couldn't get in because of COVID. So we went out to Finland instead to get more competitions in.
Tyler has been invited to work with the elite skiers who are part of the U.S. Ski Team Project Gold, a progressive camp this coming fall.
So I got invited to that, but it starts in September, so I haven't gone out with them yet, but I'm really excited to go and ski with these like Olympic skiers. I guess just results. I think it was the top 3 from each age group get invited, so I made it. It's exciting.
As Tyler continues his career on the Mogul ski team, he enjoys traveling the globe, and his biggest goal is to make it to the U.S. Olympics.
I think just traveling. Like, I don't know anyone else who's able to travel like me, and that's probably my favorite part, going to all these different places and skiing and doing what I like. I'd say my goal is to like just try and get on the U.S. ski team and go to the Olympics. It's just like, that's like the highest you can go. That's the biggest event in our sport, and like that's everyone's goal, and that's my goal. I just want to get to that highest point. My dad, he skied in college and stuff and a little after college, but he didn't do the kind of skiing I do. But he inspired me to like keep skiing and get to the point where I am right now.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Tyler's younger brother, Trey, is also an accomplished skier, and he will be featured in next week's BNEWS Weekly. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for a look at the forecast for the 4th of July and the rest of the week. We'll also check out the community calendar with me for a look at what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown to look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into the all-important 4th of July, a long weekend. I know it's hard to believe that we're that far into the year, where the year is actually half over this coming Friday. I know that's quite a thing to think about, how fast the time has gone by. And starting our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the mid-90s, so a really, really hot and humid day out there, about 10 degrees above average for us at this time of the year. As we round out our period getting in towards next Thursday, our average highs at this time of the year should be in the mid-80s, around 85, and we're actually going to be a couple of degrees cooler than that, so we're going to see probably pretty much average to maybe slightly below average temperatures coming up for the next 7 days, all except, of course, for this weekend, which is great news. And, of course, as you notice, the length of days are sun is starting to rise a little bit later in the morning as we start to head in towards summer. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area over the next 7 days in terms of temperatures and precipitation. Looking at our temperature map, again, we are going to be one of the only areas of the country that's expecting around average or below average temperatures here in the Burlington area and over most of New England. Now, that doesn't mean really cold conditions, just means slightly below, maybe 4 or 5 degrees below average, which puts us around 80, so pretty nice still out there. As we look at our precipitation changes, we're expecting just average precipitation. I know a lot of you out there who have your gardens that are suffering right now with how dry it's been. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get, again, a ton of beneficial rain, maybe some spot showers here and there. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at that great weather coming up for the next 7 days here in the Burlington area. Starting out again on Friday, our temperatures way up in the mid-90s, very humid, feeling like well over 100 out there, so take it easy. You have to be out and about in the heat. And going into the weekend, we're going to see some unsettled weather starting to move into our area. We're going to see a chance of some spot showers and thunderstorms. I think all 3 days of the 3-day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and on the 4th of July as well. Doesn't look like we're expecting, hopefully, too much in terms of lightning on Monday. Just keep in mind some of those fireworks displays out there. We're going to have to keep an eye on that as we may have some showers and thunderstorms moving through the area and temperatures in the 80s. Now, as we head in towards the work week starting out on Tuesday, we have fair skies return, and then we have maybe a quick-moving low-pressure center moving through Tuesday night into Wednesday that might give us some showers again and again. Temperatures getting down to around 80 and then up to the upper 70s again, and then we rebound back up to around average as we head in towards Thursday. So all in all, pretty nice week coming up. Nothing really intensely hot after we move past Friday. So everyone, get out there, have a great week, enjoy the weather, and happy 4th.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils!
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On July 11th, the Parks and Recreation Department will be having a day trip to Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. The cost of the trip is $148 per person. To register and for more information, go to burlingtonrecreation.org. Through August 19th, the Burlington Public Library is having adult summer reading programs. For more information, go to burlingtonpubliclibrary.org. On Sunday mornings through September, 3rd Avenue is having kids painting on the green from 10 to 11 a.m. For more information, go to 3rdavburlington.com. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo shows a young Burlington resident spreading love and acceptance. It was posted by the Burlington Public Library and shows a girl coloring a Love Who You Are card at the library's booth at Burlington's Pride Month celebration on the town common. It was a great event aimed at making everyone in the community feel seen, safe, and welcome. We'd like to see your photos. This could be of your summer activities, family and pets, the weather outside your front door, or anything else you'd like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. We have one more photo for you today from our annual meeting and Volunteer Appreciation Awards we recently held at Burlington High School. Here we have BCAT Board President Linda McNamee posing with BCAT's 2022 Volunteer of the Year Award winner, Dan Wynn. You can find the full Appreciation Award ceremony and our red carpet interviews on our website at bcattv.org. That's all for this week. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.